Once we procure the e-resource, the next very important aspect in e-resource management is to provide access to the library users of these resources. There are different methods through which the access can be provided. So in this video we are going to discuss the different techniques or methods through which the access can be provided to the library users of these e-resources, and what are the main points to be taken care when we provide the access to the users. So we are going to discuss about authentication and authorization, open access, the library portal where we can list all the resources in alphabet order from A to Z, the subject index, we can ensure the searching through federated search, we can provide the access of these resources through different discovery services. There are link resolver, and the last, that is the browsing list. What is the purpose of subscription of resource? I think needless to mention here that the resources are subscribed in library to benefit the users as per their requirement or need. But there are certain limitations, there are certain criteria which has to be followed before we provide the access of the subscribed resources to the library users as per their requirement. In order to discuss the access, the first one is very important, and that is authentication, which is the process to validate the identity of authorized users. Who are these authorized users? These authorized users are the faculties, staff members, students, and other library users. And the detail of these authorized users, when we subscribe the e-resources, are mentioned clearly in the license agreement when we sign or agree the licenses with the vendor or supplier or publisher or content provider. So basically there are two popular authentication options, and the first one is the user ID and password based access. The second one is the IP based access. As we all know that user ID and password based access, where one ID and password is provided to the user, and using that any library user or anyone can access the resource. The another very effective authentication method is IP based, where the library provides the range of IPs to the content provider and the product is enabled in order to access those resources. But here the question is there any source of authentication? Yes, there are mainly two very famous and known authentication sources. The first one is API, which is known as Application Program Interface, and the second one is Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. What happens? API and LDAP both are available in all major programming languages nowadays, and it is very simple to authenticate against its user for different information systems such as integrated library management system like Koha, Evergreen, News and Lib. If you go for the commercial products, there are many meta search systems, proxy servers, email systems. So these API and LDAP can be found in these information systems. But it is very important to understand here what is API and what is LDAP. An API is a set of definition of the ways one piece of computer software communicates with another. Whereas the LDAP is a well-established protocol for accessing personal data in directory. We'll see in detail both of them separately. Authentication, when we talk about user ID and password based, is less secured in comparison to IP based authentication. Why? Because ID and password is not easy to maintain, and also any library finds it very difficult to keep the password secret for a long period of time. The benefit of IP based authentication is, the first is, it is more popular than single user ID and password based access, and nowadays commonly used in every academic library because user does not have to remember. As I already mentioned and explained that a range of IP is provided to the content provider. IP based access authentication has suitable and appropriate function for access e-resources, but for the on-campus users only. The disadvantage of IP based authentication is that this method cannot be used for remote users or off-campus users. And to solve this problem and difficulty for both local and remote users, single sign-on mechanism is used. If the user wants to access the e-resource outside the designated IP range, then user may be assigned a login to the database or implement the use of a proxy server. Actually, a proxy server allows users with login credential which is provided to the user to log into the proxy server, and here campus network allows remote access to authorized users by passing them through a proxy server. So if any user is outside of the campus can log in and access through proxy server the e-resources. If users actually come across or come from an IP address from outside the campus IP range, then it will not allow the users without entering their user ID and password. The user ID and password are authenticated by campus LDAP, a system where all the user ID and password are managed. That means only authorized users can pass through the proxy. Here it means that if any user who is not authorized or not given the authorized user ID and password cannot pass through the proxy server and cannot access the e-resources. So the authentication is very important in order to secure the content, because the institute has paid a huge amount in order to subscribe the resources, and also the institute has signed the license agreement with the publisher. So if the content is misused or accessed by those users who are not part of the institute, may violate the rule and regulation or may violate the license agreement. Next important aspect is open access. Open access is the best way to provide access to e-resources. The online public access catalog basically nowadays very important in order to do the searching, with the facility of advanced searching also, where we can restrict the searching to a desired information. I mean to say that sometimes it happens, everybody might have observed that when we start searching like Google or like online public access catalog, and when we give the general keyword, there we find lot of information, and out of which we find some information irrelevant. But with the help of advanced searching, we can pinpoint the search and get the desired result, desired output with the exact keyword provided to the online public access catalog. Nowadays, online public access catalog comes with different other features like tagging, comment, the download feature, print, and etc. And one of the most important feature of online public access catalog nowadays is that all the OPACs are compatible with MARC or Dublin Core metadata, where anyone can download the MARC record, and the best part is that the same MARC record can be used in another catalog of another library. So after procurement of the e-resource, this is also means the access can be provided through online public access catalog. And one more very important thing is that nowadays every publisher or the supplier, they maintain the MARC record. So getting the MARC file and updating the online public access catalog is very easy. So access also can be provided easily with the help of these metadata. The next important aspect in access is library portal, where the access can be provided with an A to Z list through library portal, which contains links of all e-resources. It is the cheapest and easy way to provide access to the holding, which normally is a practice in India or a small country. The benefit of library portal is that it may contain the list as you wish, and it will allow the users to find the e-resources easily. And the best part of library portal is that it can be prepared using HTML or PHP or some other program easily with the searching features. So the access can also be provided with the help of these languages or the programs. There are subject index. In this tool, e-resource can be indexed and searchable by specific subject area or academic discipline like the different subject: history, economics, political science, biology, chemistry, physics, etc., etc. Basically, the content providers or the publisher who include subject index in their databases are many, and some of them are very famous, such as EBSCO, ProQuest, JGate, Elsevier, Springer, Emerald, etc. So the access based on subject index can be provided. The next important is the federated search. First, it is very important to understand the concept of federated search. Actually, federated search is also known as meta search or poly search or broadcast search. And here, instead of searching the e-resource one by one in different platforms, the federated search platform allows the users to real-time search of multiple e-resources simultaneously at a time through single search query, wherein users can get the result in a single integrated list. And some good products available in the market are Research Pro from Innovative Interfaces, 360 Search from Serial Solutions, MetaLab from Ex Libris, Google Scholar from Google, and EBSCO Host Integrated Search from EBSCO. So these are some very good examples of federated search product which can be an effective way to provide access to these e-resources. The next is discovery services, which are very famous now, and it refers to a discovery layer. In discovery services, actually it pre-indexes the metadata and also the full text documents. If we compare the discovery service with federated search, we find that federated search application do search the live sources. In discovery service, data are pre-indexed and discovery services retrieve results quickly in comparison to the federated search engine or federated search platform. Basically, the federated search products rely on connectors and search remotely, but these solutions are only partial and limited. If we talk about the discovery service, it provides a single search interface to multiple resources, and it uses a centralized consolidated index and provides better and faster results in comparison to federated search. Discovery service is a single interface which searches the pre-indexed metadata and full text document of all e-resources, both internal and external, like content provider or database vendors or open sources, and gives the result on a single search platform. And since the metadata are pre-indexed and harvested in a single server, the search result of Discovery service is more quickly than Federated Search. Some of the products are available for Discovery services like EBSCO Discovery, Serial Solutions, Summon, Ex Libris Primo. It's very nice discovery service but very costly. Innovative Interface, Incore, Circe Dynix Enterprise. So discovery services are very important tool to provide the access to the subscribed e-resources. There are many link resolver which allows users to find out the availability of scholarly full text information resources such as ebooks, e-journals, e-theses, etc. that the library have and redirects the users to those resources. As per the Sherpa Glossary of Open Access abbreviations, the resolver is a service that directs users from a public online link to content that the user has a right to read, normally by virtue of institutionally subscribed resources. Actually, link resolver work or do not work to the degree that a given information resource is open URL compliant, otherwise known as NISO ANSI standard J39.88, and to put it simply, open URL is a standard format of URL that enables users to find an appropriate copy of a given resource while searching a database or other discovery tools. More specifically, in the case of libraries, an article or other full text resources that users of a specific library are licensed to access. So link resolver also helps the user to find out the availability of information. The next is browsing list. In this tool, a list of e-resources are prepared in an alphabetical or subject order through multiple interrelated web pages, and generally it is developed with different languages like HTML, PHP, and cascading style sheets. For this, libraries may create their own pages or may have different products in order to create the browsing list. For example, LibGuide, Subject Guide. LibGuide is a commercial product and web-based knowledge sharing system, especially designed with the librarian's mind for showing the high quality research information to the users, even if the users did not know they existed one. So LibGuide can help to prepare the browsing list. So the browsing list can also be very helpful tool in order to provide the access to the subscribed resources. I hope I have been able to make you understand the concept of access of e-resources in a very effective way. If you feel that you have any query or any question, don't hesitate to drop a mail at dptnitrkl@gmail.com, or you may reach anytime on the given number here. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see more in the next video.